Now then,
Hey up.
welcome back to Untitled Wild. This is now episode 6, so we are halfway through a year of filming. So in this episode we are continuing with what we last left off on, and it's what wildlife and nature we are getting in our gardens and our immediate spaces.
Indeed, yes. So I am going to be looking at the continued moth activity for what it's been worth with the cold weather recently, and also updating you on the blue tits in my garden. And also, me and my children went out for a little bit of a dawn chorus adventure on National Dawn Chorus Day. So we're going to be catching you up with what happened there.
Exciting stuff. And from my end, I am continuing to follow my little fox family. I am learning more and looking more at the hedgehogs that I recently discovered in my garden, and we are going to see how much the frog spawn has developed in this stage now. So plenty to be looking at today.
Lots coming up.
So without further ado, roll titles.
Now then,
Hey up,
I'm Iris,
I'm Arlo.
and this is
Into Wild.
Good morning. It's Into Wild at 4:15 a.m. And as you can see, Iris, Arlo and I have come out on this Sunday morning on National Dawn Chorus Day. And as you can hear around us, we've got some sounds. Oh, there's a blackbird doing his thing. There's another blackbird calling over there. We've got all sorts of tweeting and twitters coming from everywhere. Oh, it's beautiful. So we thought we'd come out very early. We've been up since about 3:45, and we thought we'd come out and see what we could see at our local spot. So we're at Post Hill, which is in West Leeds in Yorkshire, and it's not somewhere we've been for the Dawn Chorus before. Arlo and I, and sometimes Iris, every year try and get out here to hear the Dawn Chorus on one of the best days. And the reason we've come here today is because we're still on lockdown, and the local woods, Bromley Fall woods that we usually go to, are sort of shut off to anyone who doesn't live immediately around them. So we've come here instead. So let's see what's what. But we just thought we'd check in, say good day, and as the light gets a little bit better, we might do a little bit more and talk about what we've seen and what we've heard. I might do a little bit of recording as well. Okay, see you soon. We've stopped. Please excuse the lighting, I've just got a torch shining in my own face. We've stopped at one of our usual stopping points when we come naturing and walking about up here on Post Hill. Arlo's just next to me having a bit of a mooch around. He's got the night scope, so he's been checking things out. Iris is up in her tree, having a little rest. But the reason we've stopped here mainly, the main reason we've stopped here is to listen to the Dawn Chorus, as we said earlier. And I don't want to talk too much because I just want to listen to it and I want you to hear what's going on, but just to give you a few pick of the pops in terms of who we've heard. We're certainly hearing an awful lot of blackbird activity, certainly a lot of robin activity. I've heard starlings, and I think I heard the tree creeper early on. I'm alright when it comes to bird calls, but I'm not an expert. That sounds a bit like the pheasant, doesn't it?
Yeah, we do hear that.
Yeah, we do. We can never decide if it's the pheasant or if it's a funny sounding cockerel on one of the farms nearby. We have also heard, I think they say the great tits. I've heard the great tits calling as well. And, ooh, spooky. But let's just stop and have a little bit of a listen. I might turn my light off so you don't have to look at my ugly mug. I'm just taking some of the nice sky pictures above the trees. So I'll turn this off, have a listen. If you can identify any of the birds that we're hearing, do leave a comment. Okay. It's hard to identify sometimes the little tweets and chirps that you hear. I'm sure someone with a much better ear than me would do it. What are you hearing, Alba?
Not sure. I thought I might have heard an owl.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. There it is.
There it is, the tawny owl.
Seems quite close. Is that an owl?
Tawny owl.
Seems quite close, actually.
And it's interesting because it's...
I thought it was a vixen at first.
I always thought it was a vixen calling. That's interesting because it's a vixen. Female fox. There it is again. I don't know if the microphone's picking it up. But what's interesting about that is there it is again.
It sounds like it's getting close.
Yeah, it does. And it's quite late in the season for an alarm call of the blackbird. It's quite late in the season for the owls to be calling. But they're just adding their voice as well to the dawn chorus. Lovely stuff.
It's quite eerie, but quite beautiful.
Yeah, eerie and beautiful. Nice. Arlo's comment there, eerie and beautiful. Do you know what? Let's leave it with the owl, shall we? We've really, really enjoyed this dawn chorus. Lovely.
Okay guys, so you've seen the frog spawn. I'm now going to show you the little tadpoles that have started emerging. They are lovely. They're not yet the really round heads and long wiggly tails yet. They're kind of just a bit of a wriggly line. Some of them are getting the rounder heads now though. So I'm going to take you into the pond and show you what they're like at this stage, and then it won't be long until we hopefully have froglets and then frogs jumping around the garden. Okay, let's go. The best time of year to see common frogs is during the spring, when they journey to ponds and lakes in order to breed. You need to listen carefully for their deep purring croak and look out for clumps of frog spawn in ponds, and that is a sure sign that frogs are nearby. Eggs are laid in clusters of spawn in shallow water. The eggs are small and black, encased in a clear jelly. Up to 2,000 can be laid in a single clump, and after around 3 weeks, depending on the weather, young tadpoles emerge. The tadpoles take up to about 16 weeks to grow into froglets, losing their tails and then growing legs. Although still widespread throughout the UK, common frog numbers have declined in recent years. Loss of breeding habitat is a huge factor, with increasing number of ponds being discarded or destroyed for property development. The species is also frequently killed on the road when travelling to breeding sites, and disease is another contributing factor to their decline. You can help these common frogs out by creating a pond in your garden to provide them with the ideal place to breed. But remember, these amphibians keep small invertebrate numbers under control, and when you see them year upon year, you know that spring is well and truly on its way. Pretty cool stuff, right?
Great stuff, Rosie. It's really nice to see everything going on in your garden. Nice to see what's going on with the frogs. I've been doing some things as well to see all the lovely little invertebrates and small things going on in my garden. I've been building one of these. It's a moth trap, and I want to show you how to put it together. I'm back in my garden on another lovely day, and I'm just going to talk you through how you can make yourself a really cheap moth trap. This cost me about £20 in total, and other things I've used are things that I had lying around the house. So what you are going to need in the main is a storage box of a certain size. This one is about 25 centimetres deep, it's about 45 centimetres long, and it's about 35 centimetres wide. Okay, so a storage box, and you're going to need a lid with it, and you're going to need to not mind doing a bit of damage to it, but that's fine, we'll come back to that. So I had this lying around. The first purchase that I made was this light fitting. So it's a light fitting that is compatible with the other thing I purchased, which is this bulb. So the light fitting cost about £3 or £4. This cost about £14. Now let me talk to you about this bulb. So I'm going to show it to you. It is a reptile house bulb. So it's a UV light. This one, as you can see, is 20 watts. And that's really important. So moths are really drawn to UV light. So that's the biggest spend that I made. So what I've done with the light fitting as well is I've just placed it into this piece of wood with some piping in it, and that is just going to lift it up inside the box. So this lives inside the box here. Pull it through, and that just sits in the bottom of the box, and then obviously your box sits like that. Okay. Then come into the lid. You need to cut a hole in the lid. Now this hole I've got is about 14 centimetres in diameter. I am waiting for a funnel which will come into this piece, which I'll talk about in a moment. So it's going to be about 18 centimetres when I get my funnel. So you're going to cut the hole in, and then you're going to place the funnel inside. But you're going to cut the funnel off. I've used a flower pot here because it's all I had, and it is working at the moment, but I would like to get a funnel just to make that hole a little bit tighter. But you're going to cut around the bottom so you've got a hole for your light to fit through. So let's pop the light on in here. There's nothing plugged in at the moment. This is just a demonstration. So it's going to sit, put it that way around, like this. Okay, so that's what you've got, and that essentially is your moth trap there, done. But there's a couple of other bits that we need to add to make it nice for the moths. Egg boxes, I'm sure you've got plenty of these lying around. If not, they're relatively easy to collect. So these just sit inside the box, upside down, and what these do is these act as little bits of protection for the moths inside. Moths like to get into little nooks and crannies, and if you put these, scatter them in the bottom, then the moths, as you can see, have got somewhere to get hidden. Bit of wind. So once you've got all that in there, you're sorted. I've then got these. Now you can use tin cans for this purpose, but these are just going to sit around the top of the box. And then what I've got here is a second transparent lid. So you need either a piece of perspex or something that's a little bit transparent just to sit on top, and what that does is that's going to act as a rain cover when you have got your moth trap out. In case it rains, you don't want anything getting on into your electrics. However, it's still accessible and it's still visible, so the moths will come in and fly in here. The other thing that I purchased was this timer. Obviously, the bulb is the most expensive thing I've got. Bulbs, I mean, it's a long life bulb, but obviously, just so that it's not left on all night, I've got a timer. Now, I've got my timer set from about 9 in the evening, because of the light we've got at the moment, until about 2 AM. And all that does is it's just going to save a bit of power, and it's going to sort of increase the life of your bulb as well. So I set these out. Now, depending on the species of moths, moths tend not to fly all night, but most of the flying is from around sort of early dusk until about 1 in the morning. You can leave them on all night, but like I say, if you've got neighbours and things or a smaller garden, you don't want to be irritating, and two, it just gives a bit more life to your bulb. So that's it. I have been catching some moths with these. It's quite early in the season, so fingers crossed we're going to get some slightly more spectacular things to what I have been getting. And that's it. Okay, give it a go. Let us know if you build anything at home, and leave some comments. If you've got any questions, let us know. Thank you. Have we anything?
Got a little fly here.
Oh, a tiny fly.
Oops, that's further.
It's looking decidedly empty, guys. Oh,
I've got
we have a little moth.
2 little flies.
When I last left you, my fox family were in my garden, and I had counted a maximum of 6 healthy kits. But things have changed. I reviewed my camera one morning only to see that Mum had moved the kits away. Now, as you can imagine, I was devastated. But this is not uncommon. Vixens sometimes move their kits to another earth without ever have been disturbed, just to make sure they are giving their kits the best chance of survival. But as we have been in lockdown, we have been spending more time in our gardens than usual, which means more gardening activities. This has certainly been the case in my surrounding area. This may have worried Nancy, my vixen, and made her think about moving her little ones away. After a week and a half of relentless searching, I found my little family. And wow, what a growth spurt they have had. The kits have changed from brown bear-like babies to proper little red foxes. They are playing and exploring, and there are still 6 healthy little ones. Nancy is doing a fantastic job raising the litter. They are still suckling from her, but her teats are slowly shrinking and she is bringing in plenty of food, from rats to birds. The kits are coming out a lot more in daylight hours now too, another sign that they are growing up. Currently, they are only coming out when Mum gives the all clear, but it won't be long before they get much bolder and start roaming further afield. The UK's fox population is thought to be stable, although large numbers are killed by cars, gamekeepers and farmers each year. I'm going to continue to follow my fox family and see them progress into healthy adults, and hopefully stay connected with this family for years to come.
So I am back, speaking slightly quietly because I'm very close, as you can see, to the blue tit nest box. There's been some really nice stuff going on here. You can probably see the blue tits just coming again, so I'm going to keep it brief because I don't want to disturb them. But we have had lots and lots of activity at this nest box over the season. Here he is again, or she. Really diligent parenting going on, and every time they come in you can hear the chicks having a little bit of a tweet and getting all excited. So I'm really hoping that we are going to see there you go, that we're going to see some fledging very soon. I'll leave them to it, don't want to disturb them, but just a bit of a blue tit update. Lovely.
For those of you with camera traps in your garden, you will know the feeling of butterflies you get in your belly when you're about to review the footage from the night before. I get this every time, especially when I see something unexpected. My camera traps were out primarily to spot the foxes and see their progress, but when I discovered a prickly little visitor, I was beyond delight. It has been about 15 years since I have seen a hedgehog in my garden, and now it seems I have between 3 and 4 of them visiting each night, digging up slugs and worms. Unfortunately, hedgehogs are now classed as critically endangered species, with less than 1 million individuals roaming the UK. Loss and damage of suitable habitat, such as hedgerows and woodland, is a major factor in hedgehog decline. The use of pesticides on farmland and in grassland also has reduced the hedgehog's food supply. In urban areas, the use of fencing, loss of greenery in gardens, and increasing development is negatively impacting hedgehog populations too. Another threat is roads, with many thousands of hedgehogs killed by cars each year. But you can help hedgehogs by setting up a safe retreat or creating a hedgehog house in your garden and providing some hedgehog-friendly food and water. Make sure your garden is attractive to hedgehogs by leaving compost heaps, overgrown areas and log piles as they are. Then wait for these adorable little animals to move in or pay a visit.
So we really hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Again, we've enjoyed making it. Hopefully it's going to be one of the last ones done during lockdown. We've also been continuing to receive loads of really lovely stuff from you guys, seeing what's going on in your gardens. So let's have a little look at what you've been sending us in.
Yep, so we're going to kick off with a lovely little video sent in from the Hardesty family. So thank you Gemma, Ollie, Finn and Freddie for sending in this lovely video of a male or female blue tit going in and out of the box feeding the baby. That's really lovely stuff. Keep up the great work guys and keep enjoying seeing it.
Thank you.
And let's see what everyone else is sending in. Wait, stop, because I started talking again then, because I was like, go. Okay, give it a minute and go when you're ready.
5 seconds and then, okay.
Okay.
About 20 inches across, 25, 30 inches. Blue tit update. Lovely, thank you.